Today, we're going to build a simple RESTful API using Node.js. This API will allow us to manage a list of users by performing basic operations such as retrieving, adding, updating, and deleting users. It's a great way to get hands-on experience with Node.js and understand how APIs work. After creating the API with Node.js, we will test it using Postman. You can support us and get early access to our daily videos by joining the channel. We'd love to have you as part of our community. First, let's set up our project. Once you're inside the folder, initialize a Node.js project by typing npm init-y. This command will create a package.json file that helps manage our project's dependencies and metadata. Next, we'll need to install a few packages to make our development easier. Type npm install express Body-Parser Nodemon in the terminal. Let me explain what each of these does. Express is a popular and lightweight web framework for Node.js. It provides tools and features to build APIs and web applications quickly, like routing and middleware support. Body-Parser is a middleware that allows us to parse incoming JSON data from HTTP requests, which is crucial for handling API inputs. Nodemon, on the other hand, is a development tool that automatically restarts your Node.js server whenever you save changes to your files, making the development process faster and more convenient. Once the packages are installed, you'll see that the installed packages are automatically added under the dependencies section in the package.json file. At this point, there's a small manual change you need to make. In the scripts section, add a new line with the command to start your server. By doing this, you'll be able to run your server more conveniently using just the npm start command. Let's create a new file called server.js. This will be the main file where we write all our server logic. We'll begin by importing the necessary modules using require. First, we import Express to create our server and define routes. Then we use Body-Parser to handle JSON request data. After that, we initialize our Express application by calling Express. Next, we define a port number, such as 3000, for our server to listen on. This allows us to access the API via hstil/localhost 3000. Before we start defining our routes, we also need to set up middleware. Middleware in Express processes incoming requests before they reach the route handlers. We'll use Body-Parser's JSON method as middleware to automatically parse JSON data from incoming requests. Now, let's create some mock user data. This will serve as our temporary database. For example, we can use an array of objects where each object represents a user with properties like ID, name, and email. This data will allow us to simulate database operations. Let's move on to defining our API endpoints. Endpoints are specific routes that handle requests and send responses. We'll create a route to retrieve all users by setting up a get route for /API-users. This route will send back the entire array of user data as a JSON response. To retrieve a specific user by ID, we'll define another get route /API/users/ID. The ID is a route parameter, meaning it will capture the ID value from the URL. We'll use this value to find the matching user in our array and send it back as the response. To allow the creation of new users, we'll define a post route /API/users. In this route, we'll read the user data from the request body, validate it, assign a unique ID, and add the new user to our array. Finally, we'll send a response confirming that the user has been added. For updating existing users, we'll use a put route API/users/ID. This route will find the user by ID, update their details based on the request body, and send a response indicating success. Lastly, to delete a user, we'll create a delete route /users/ID. This route will remove the user with the specified ID from our array and return a message confirming the deletion. For each of these routes, Express allows us to define the logic using simple functions called route handlers. After defining all the routes, we can start our server. Add a line to make your application listen to the port we defined earlier, like .listen 3000 equals console.log server running on HTTP/localhost 3000. To run the server, type npm start in the terminal. Thanks to Nodemon, the server will restart automatically whenever you make changes to your files. To test our API, we can use tools like Postman or curl. Postman provides an easy-to-use interface to send requests to our API. You can send a GET request to /API/users to access all the data in the database. With /API/users, you can also access specific data. To add new data to the database, you can send a post request to /API users. I'll check the added data using a GET request. You can update existing data by sending a put request to /API users. I'll verify the updated data with a GET request. You can delete data from the database using a delete request. I'm deleting the record with an ID of 1. I can check the deleted record with a GET request. Then I'll delete the remaining records one by one. Congratulations, you've built a simple API using Node.js. From here, you can extend the functionality by adding authentication, connecting to a real database, or even deploying your API to a cloud platform. I hope this tutorial has been helpful and encourages you to explore more about API development with Node.js.